Well, on Friday, Virginia Tech men's basketball opened up their season against Maine for the first meeting between the two schools, and it was the Hokies, not surprisingly, who came out on top with an 80-67 win. Virginia Tech led by 20 points. For much of the second half, they didn't really pull away until well into the second half. It was close early on, and then Virginia Tech went in with a double-digit halftime lead. But really, so many great things to talk about here. I mean, Chris Clark, he had a loud 12 points, including a thunderous dunk in fast break. He's so good with the rock in his hands, so big, powerful, and explosive that he is a one-man fast break, make no mistake. And then you could really feel the tide turn in Virginia Tech's favor early on when he nailed a three-pointer right as the shot clock expired. So Clark had a terrific game, 12 points and 9 rebounds. And, there were some surprises involved in this game, at least with the lineup. I know Buzz Williams loves to tinker with his starting lineup. He played different lineups all throughout last season. But the two arguably most productive players, at least statistically last season, were left out of it. Zach Leday and Seth Allen. So a bit of a surprise there. But both of those guys played really well, particularly Leday, who had a quiet 21 points and 12 rebounds. He was very efficient, went 4 for 4 from the charity stripe, and he's just so tough, so determined. It's just a massive asset to have the heart and soul of the team be Zach Leday, who is now a seasoned veteran, a senior, and hats off to him. Played a fantastic game, and he's going to set the tone for this team throughout the season. Seth Allen did not seem to have a problem coming off the bench, and he played terrific as well. When the Hokies went on a nice little run in the first half, it was in large part due to the layups he scored. He ended up finishing with 8 points, but still an efficient performance from him. Another star though, another guy we got to talk a lot about as the season goes along. Ahmed Hill missed all of last season with a knee injury, but what a return! Clearly, it seems at least that he is back at 100%. Like Clark, very big, very strong, explosive, brings a lot of size, and Hill was nailing trays. I mean, he has such a complete game. It's going to be so exciting to see what Hill can do at there. He went 3 for 6 from the three-point line, finished with 14 points, and had 3 rebounds. Just a terrific performance from him. I was a bit surprised to see him start, but I think he's going to merit a starting spot as the season progresses. So, interestingly enough, the guy who had the most minutes was Justin Bibbs. Only 6 points, and not a surprise to see him score both his buckets off of three-pointers. You want to see him be more involved in the offense because he is so talented, and like I've said earlier, could really be the X factor this season. But, for many people, the most impressive player in this game could very well be, Justin Robinson. Played very, very well, especially when it came to attacking the basket. Scored some really key buckets when it came to building momentum and so forth. But, the player of the game, of course, has to be Leday for 20 points and 12 rebounds. Zach Leday, it was very rare to see what he did because he was the first Virginia Tech player to have a double-double off the bench since Jeff Allen against VMI back in 2009. So, Leday, whether he starts or come off the bench, he doesn't care. He just wants to get it done. So, the Hokies, big win, in terms of getting the season off on the right foot. People might say, oh, it's Maine, it's expected. Well, guess what? Had Virginia Tech beaten Alabama A&M in the first game of last season, the conversation about Tech being in the tournament could have been a whole lot different. So, Virginia Tech has the weakest non-conference schedule, according to ESPN, so it is critical that the Hokies have a sterling record through the whole of non-conference play. And they will continue on Wednesday, going up against High Point. So we'll see what happens there. Actually, they play on Tuesday, November 15th, correction. But, all in all, very exciting performance to watch. The fans loved it. I loved it. And this team, like Buzz Williams said, is going to continue to get better. A little bit of sloppy play at times, but for the most part, not really ever an outcome that was in doubt. So, as always, Hokies, for those who have passed and for those to come, reach for excellence.